Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Ganganapate Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwaraha. Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambake Devi Narayani Namostute. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita. Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundai Viche Swaha. Durge Durge Rakshini Tha Tha Swaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Sadgurubhyo Namah. Shri Paramagurubhyo Namah. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 17th of January 2026. I want to offer prostrations, Ananda Koti Namaskaram, to all the great sages and to Bhagavan residing in the heart of every single being. I hope my voice and picture is coming okay. I'm using a different computer here. If there's any issue with that, let me know, please. I want to do a screen share here with you to go over certain points that we have been looking at. As you know, Ishta means one who is very pleasing to oneself. And to develop the bond with Paramatma, there is attachment. We have been looking at attachment in many different ways, and I want to try to make sure this is very clear because it can get very misunderstood or even confusing at times. That yes, do we have attachment developed from inside of us, from childhood? Of course. Of course there is. It is called bonding. You know, as soon as as soon as a child is born, even before that, there is bonding between the child and the mother. You know, obviously, the child has to have food, so the breast is having the milk inside. And then from there, there is all kinds of very intricate neurological, psychological, physical bond, chemical bond that develops between the mother and the child, and then eventually between the mother and the father and others as time goes on. It is a bonding process. That is natural and it has to be there. It is very, very much deeply ingrained inside the brain. So when we talk about in satsang, Bhagwan ke saath bhakti, to connect with God, to go beyond the attachments and entanglements of limited structures within the mind, with limited number of people, as I mentioned yesterday, it's a big question. Is that even possible? And what does that mean even? Does that mean we don't love people around us? But you see, this attachment phenomena is for survival. As a child begins to grow and develop, there is total dependence initially on the mother, on the father. Human babies are born completely dependent. So the attachment is 100% solid. And as time goes on, as the child grows and grows and grows, the child moves into independence. But the internal binding with parents, with relatives, with objects of senses, that binding is ingrained into the neurological structure of the brain itself. It's deeply, deeply ingrained in the brain, first of all, and even more deeply ingrained in the mind, inside the antakarana. Now, this realization was there in the sadhana of ancient rishis who are doing research internally, and we can also do it. We would realize that if we try to stay away from those people, objects, places that we are deeply connected to, what happens inside? Everybody knows, right? He said, I missed you so much. It's been such a long time since I've seen you. We miss the person. We miss going to certain places that we enjoyed so much before, or objects of the senses, food items and touring places or malls or whatever it might be. Because it's all ingrained inside the brain and the sukshma sharir, the mind. And it's deeply fixed there. And our sense of who I am, the identity, is connected to that entire structure of memories and experiences and people and the binding that is there. It is bound right there. And the chance of getting out of that is nearly zero. Very few people have ever gotten out of that. The only way out of that thing is Brahma Vidya, Bhagwan ki akhand bhakti. Otherwise, that structure is so deep, it causes billions of rebirth again and again and again. Rebirth doesn't stop. It goes on forever. It can potentially go on forever until there is realization to rise out of that. Rising out of that is what the Bhagavad Gita is about. The Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, Upanishads, all the commentaries of the Acharyas, Sanatan Dharma in terms of Vedanta, all the darshans of Vedanta are about rising out of this massive intrapsychic neurological structure. And that rising above that internally, psychologically, will take us into the Brahman, super consciousness. It is not the rejection of it, rejection of the intrapsychic memory structure of parents and kids and this and that, objects and places. And it's all there. But there is no binding there anymore. Is that possible? Yes. But it is extremely, 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 extremely rare. Out of billions, one person might rise out. And that is what we are attempting here. That is what this satsang is about. It is pure 100% Sanatana Dharma as it is. And Sachin is not going to dilute anything. He's going to put it out there. Somebody's got to put it out there as a seva at the feet of Bhagavan, Sri Krishna and all the great sages. Jaisa hai, vaisa hi batayenge. This statement that Sachin just made is in the Gita. Out of millions, somebody will try to rise above. Out of those who try to rise above, take 1,000,000 of those, one person will make some progress. Out of 1,000,000 of those, one person will actually rise above. That is how durlabham. It is extremely rare. But that which is extremely rare is actually available for everybody. It's not as rare as even what the scripture says. Scripture says it's rare because of the intensity of the binding. The binding is right from the womb of the mother. My mother, my father, my mother, my father. Atma doesn't have any mother, father. Kitna hard hai. Now be careful. This is very misunderstood. Even this Brahma Vidya is misunderstood. Now I should just not care about my parents, just run away from them and run away from family. No, that's not it either. You do that, that is a massive misunderstanding. When we use the word love, I love my parents, is that love or is that entangled attachment? I love my brother, I love my dog, I love my neighbor, I love my favorite foods. We use this word love in such a broad way in the English language. But if you really break it down, there is entangled intrapsychic attachment. Most human beings, 99.999999999%, are living in entangled intrapsychic neuropsychological binding, and they cannot get out of it. No way. Impossible. वो निकल नहीं सकते इसमें से. That is called Maya, Mahamaya. But first of all, it's very difficult to realize that this is a psychological prison. Very, very hard to realize that. Who realizes that thing? Even if we realize, accept that this is a lot of bondage, so what? You cannot get out of it. Many sadhus have tried, many sadhaks have tried, so many people have tried so many things, they cannot get out of this thing. They have tried to run away into the caves, tried to do deep meditation, tried to do fasting of all kinds, tried to do yogic sadhana. Maybe some progress can be made. Until and unless that sense that this is mine, that internal bandhan, that bandhan meaning binding, that binding has to be transformed. If that is not transformed, there is no mukti for anybody. Doesn't matter what clothes one has, how much sadhana is done, mantra sadhana and every kind of sadhana, punya hota hai. It's a progression, but it doesn't take us to mukti. Nothing can take us there. No upasana, no bhakti, no sadhana of any kind. Nothing, because the ahankar is stuck, is trapped inside the intrapsychic structure of bandhan, of attachment. How to... people try. Let me try to get out of this thing. They leave the home. They take special vows. They do this. They do that. That doesn't mean you're out of it. You might drown more into it. It's not about leaving something or leaving somebody or changing the anubhav. No. It is recognizing what is bondage. The word is bondage. Bandhan in Sanskrit or Hindi, Gujarati, etc. Moha, look at the words. Moha, the Shadripu, 6 major faults. These are all bandhan. The sense, my husband, my this, my that. We have to do our duty. But to rise above, is it possible to, just think about it for a moment, to rise above any sense of binding? There's no binding left. Now, we don't know what that is. That is completely new territory. New territory. We don't know what that is. So, because it is so rare, we have to find another way to reach the mukta sthiti. There's no way to eliminate that binding. You cannot, because your brain is for, how are you going to eliminate that thing? Unless that parabhakti, you have opened into parabhakti completely and embrace satsang completely, with diving into scriptures and complete, like akhanda vritti. That is the only one exception to totally rise above. Otherwise, we need another path. I hope this is clear. You have to reflect on this yourself. Let's back up just for a moment. Let's be very clear what we're talking about. This intrapsychic, neuropsychological bandhan, nobody can get out of that thing. In no way. There's only one way. There's only one doorway only. That is akhanda vritti. Bhagwan na swarup ma akhanda vritti. That you are taking all of your energy and putting it completely towards Paramatma and doing your duties and other things like that, and not at all concerned with what happens inside the sansar. Do your duty, bandhan bilkul comes to zero. If millions of people die, or millions of people are born, or millions of whatever happens in the sansar, it's all pralay. इसके साथ कुछ लेना देना नहीं. भगवान के ही साथ लेना देना है. And even this body and this activity is only used for that param tattva and nothing else. We do our duty to survive, to have enough food, water, clothing, shelter. do our duties for family, eliminate everybody from the mind, and keep your vritti completely on Paramatma. If you can do that, you get mukti right away. If we can do it, we are mukta. If we cannot do that, we are not mukta. Now we need some other way. And that's what I'm going to talk about now. Because who can do that? Nobody can do that. Hardly anybody. Maybe some bade sant or some very rare, very special souls might be able to do that. Even most of the religious people cannot do that. They're just spinning in circles. They're just spinning in circles. They try to do this, and their internal attachments drag them and thrash them and throw them into trash. All the spiritual people wind up in the trash can. Most of them, 99%. They're not, and the reason behind that is because they cannot, because that internal binding is so intense, it will throw away, right? Okay, now, so we need another path. Having understood this, that path of akhanda vritti, ananya chintan, bhagwan na swarup ma manya, akhanda vritti rakhi, this thing, Vachanamrut, it's the highest sadhana, the most difficult sadhana, very rare. So if you cannot do that, then what can we do? So there's something else we can do. This might sound, now I'm going to try to present this to you another way. Thoda dhyan rakhna is par, and this is difficult to explain, but Bhagwan ki krupa se, maybe we can be successful in this, only by krupa. So let's be very clear. First of all, we have to acknowledge, step one, acknowledge that there is intrapsychic, psychoneurological binding with family, with friends, with panchvishay, shabda, sparsh, rup, rasgan, sabke saath. There's wanting of those experiences, binding there. There's memories of that. There's thoughts of that. Our mind is just spinning in that. That is our life. It is not spinning akhanda in God. Let's be realistic about this. Maybe we do some sadhana, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, little bit of sadhana. We try to make some progress. You know what happens? You try to make some progress, and some progress is made. The internal attachment structure will pull you right out of that and throw you into the mud. Throw the sadhak right, thrash the sadhak into the mud. Try it and you see. Guaranteed that'll happen. You try to get up and go further, try to go further by your efforts, and internal binding, external issues, whatever it might be, it will throw the sadhak right back into the fire pit of the sansar. And this is the reality of the situation. This is a reality. Now, there is another way. Let's see if I can explain this by the grace of God and all the sages. Stage one, we acknowledge our attachment structure. Don't criticize it. Don't try to run away from it. Don't do anything to it. Recognize it silently. So this is the goal. The goal is not to run away from that. The goal is to be aware of that. So when we do mantra sadhana, Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, all the mantras we do. भगवान को प्रार्थना करना कि हे प्रभु मेरा जो बंधन है मुझको बताइए. That's all. Start with that only. Don't try to do anything to it. Sorry about this hand going up. It has to be a way to shut that off somehow. But anyway, I'll have to look into it. Don't try to get away from the attachments. Are there attachments to the Panch Vishayas? Yes. Shabda, Sparsha, Roop, Rasgan, isko Panch Vishay kehte hain. Are there deep, ingrained binding towards mother, father, brother, sister, dog, cat, pets, towards close relation? We say close relationships. Are there deep bindings inside? Is the brain chemistry bound inside there? Yes. Of course it is. And if it wasn't, we wouldn't have any life at all. So it is there. Let's just acknowledge what it is. It is there. You have children, you have grandchildren, you have parents, you have grandparents, you have memories of people gone, people coming in. And then continuous interaction with the world. Is there bondage, binding, intrapsychic entanglement? Yes. So the very first stage in bhakti is to pray to Paramatma and to do sadhana with mantra sadhana, to ask God, hey Prabhu, मुझको बताइए मेरा बंधन क्या है? How much I'm bound I need to see. And when one begins to perceive that silently, the perception of the bondage, that I'm bound here, stuck here, energy goes here, it's all an internal realization. That vision of binding allows us to become very steady inside. Say, okay, this is there. Now, there is a bypass route. Rather than that very difficult path of akhanda vritti and concentrating on Paramatma and all that, there is another way. That within that entire binding structure, इसमें एक ही बात करना है. Leave it exactly the way it is. Just do two things. Pull the energy out of aham bhav, aham and mamatva. Ye mera. Pull that energy out and place that same energy, that this is Bhagwan ki Shakti, and place it in that same connection. That is Jivan Mukti. It is a bypass. Direct bypass. I'll give you an example. My own life. I'll give you Sachin's own life. You will have to look at it your way. Do I have my father? Father passed away. Father of the body passed away. Okay. Is there memories and all kinds of childhood experiences and teenage experiences and so many things? There's a whole memory structure just of Sachin's relationship with the father, right? The body is gone because he passed away. But the relationship structure still remains. So what do I do with this? Do I try to run away from it? I cannot run away from it. Do I try to get rid of it? How can I get rid of it? It's there in the brain, it's built. Try to justify it, condemn it, blame somebody, blame myself, do all that kind of stuff. You regret, shame, blame, guilt, do all those things? Think about it. What should I do with it? Can I change it? No. Can it happen? Remember some incident, then you blame yourself, blame somebody else. I did this, I said this. Doesn't this thing happen to all of us? What to do with this? I'm just using myself as an example. Sachin and the father, the body that was cremated. There was a whole memory structure in my brain even now. What do I do with that memory structure? Can I to run away from that memory structure? Isko tyag kehte hain. Take some diksha somewhere, put some tilaks on and run away from it. It will follow, it will run after me. I'll not be able to run away from it. Maybe I can keep distance from it, try to connect with Paramatma. But that deeper internal binding is still there. So even if you run after Bhagavan, that binding will run after you and it will not allow you to reach God. So that doesn't work either. Most of the time it doesn't work. There's a lot of slokas and mantras and other things about this. Yeah, it's a path. You can try that if you're successful in actually pulling out or transmuting the attachment, then that is a different matter. But that doesn't happen in most cases. No. It's very rare that happens. So we need another approach. So what do I do with the memory structure of my father? I can say my meaning the psychological me. What do I do with it? It's actually very simple. It's nothing complicated, just two things to be done. First of all, don't do anything to the memory structure because it cannot be changed. Don't try to change it. Don't analyze it too much. Don't try to justify it, condemn it. Don't blame anybody. Leave it alone. Leaving the entire memory structure alone and silently perceiving it. It's just leaving it alone. It's so simple. Leave it alone. Don't do anything to that. And then what? What else is to be done? It's very simple. भगवान का जो नाम है, नमः शिवाय, श्री राम, हरे कृष्णा, लक्ष्मी नारायण, भगवान का जो नाम है, bring that name, holy name and the swarup into that memory structure. That, hey Prabhu, this is given to you. I have nothing to do with this anymore. It's there. कुछ लेना देना नहीं इसके साथ. ये सब आपका है. This chitta vritti nirodha. That bring the name inside, and what basically happens when we bring the name inside there, we are no longer the holy name, Bhagwan ka naam, that Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. Whatever memories come up, take the name of the Narayan and say, this is now this is now something that is no longer in my domain. This is in your domain. Whatever you want to do with this, you do it. You can destroy it. You can do anything you want to do with it. Transmute it. It's there. I have learned a lot from it. I've gained a lot from it. Just love it. And then in that name, there's love. Just bring love and compassion and forgiveness. These qualities, love, compassion, forgive yourself, forgive others, forgive everybody. That's it. It ends. Finish. Then if the mind goes back into that entangled state, Bhagwan ka naam lena ki, hey Prabhu, I'm putting you into this thing. I have nothing to do with this anymore. I've done what is my duty. What else is there? I want you. I don't want this mess. Don't be trapped over here. So don't try to run away from that. Just simply bring inside that memory structure, inside that anubhav, Bhagavad Tattva. And when we do that, yes, I can remember my father now. I can remember my so many incidences. But the capacity to remember without entanglement, this is our angel wing program that is there in detail. We're going to doing that this year, self-mastery. That capacity directly develops by infusing Brahma Vidya inside, the knowledge of the scriptures, the teachings of the great sages, and Bhagwan ka naam. You don't try to remove the attachment structure. The attachment structure will naturally settle down and just remain as part of what it needs to remain. It remains there. But it no longer is binding the Jivatma. Because we are not trying to do something to that. We cannot do anything to that, to remove the attachment. The more we try to remove the attachment by ourselves, we will get more drowned inside there. Like quicksand. You cannot remove that attachment. Bhagavan, God's mantra, God's name, Bhagwan ka naam, Bhagwan ke charitra, usme bring that inside the antakarana. And say, hey Prabhu, this whatever is inside the antakarana, you take care of this. I am bringing, to bring the love, prema, into the antakarana. So it is called forgiveness, 100% radical forgiveness for, Sachin can say, for the father. 100% forgiveness for oneself, Shama. Yogi Ji Maharaj used to say in the Swaminarayan Parampara, there's a Yogi Gita. Here, I'll show you right here. I have it right here, Yogi Gita. वो क्या कहते थे? In Gujarat, he used to say, अंतर थी, क्षमा करो. एमाती आनंद ना फुवारा छूटे. Forgive everybody. Why is it so hard? It's so simple. But we don't want to forgive. We don't even want to forgive ourselves. You have to forgive yourself and forgive everybody else. Sthirta aa jati hai. Doesn't mean there's no destruction of memories. But now, energy is not being drained inside the memory structure. Shant ho jata hai. It's left alone. And you just Ananda ki Bhagwan ki bhakti mein that akhanda vritti that is so difficult and so hard, it becomes very simple and straightforward. There's nothing hard about it. It's hard because of the weight that we're carrying. We don't need to carry that weight. So when we are stuck inside internally this way, we recognize it, we still interact with the world the way it is, but we interact with the world with a higher vision. That's all. But why is that so hard? I mean, why is that so difficult? Because of our ahankar that doesn't want to let go of all of these things. Let go meaning, let go in what sense? It doesn't want to let go of the binding power. It doesn't want to let that go, and it keeps damaging the person. The memories are not to be let go. I'm not to let go of my memories of my father, but I have to let go, the ahankar has to let go of the binding that is happening inside with rag, dvesh, klesh, this happened, that happened, analysis. That binding has to be transmuted. Now, it's very simple. Sachin has a choice. I can say that, I want to maintain that binding. Then there's no chance of mukti. Sorry. Bhagwan कहते आपको वो बंधन रखना है तो रखो. And keep rolling around in that trash, in that mud. Nobody is going to take us out of that. If we don't want to get out of the trash can, nobody's going to take us out of that. It's a trash can. Why is it a trash can? Because I just use my father as an example. He may have done so many good things. He did some negative things may have been done. And my mind is stuck inside there. My mind becomes polluted by the binding. Man ashuddha ban jata hai just by memory. Nahi, ashuddha nahi banana. Whatever he has did in the past, the body is gone now. Sachin doesn't need to relive those things. I have to say, okay, this happened there. Bhagwan ki unka kalyan karo, and I have nothing to do with all of that thing. What do I have to do with? I can remember the memories, but I have wisdom now, jnana, that I'm not bound over there. And if I say I want to be bound over there, then nobody can help us. No guru can help us. Even samadhi will not help us. There are incidences in the life of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. He used to put people in samadhi. It's a long and interesting charitra. But they would go see divine abodes and all those things in samadhi. They come back and they're bound and stuck. He said that samadhi is of no use. He himself put people, hundreds of people, thousands in samadhi, and then he himself said that samadhi is of no use. एक ऐश्वर्य था उनका, that's all, but the point is that samadhi will not help us. Even if we go into samadhi with all this bondage somehow because of some great saint or somebody putting us in there, we'll come right back and be stuck in this place. Even nirvikalpa samadhi of this type with these bondages, if it happens somehow, it's of no use. It's the capacity to live in the sansar completely free. That's what it's all about. That's the whole ball game. It's not about leaving your mother or father or not loving them or anything like that. No, not at all. The only point is, mera bandhan kahan hai? Bandhan kya hai? What is bondage? I have to understand that first. I don't even know. If I don't know what is bondage, how can I get out of that thing? Getting out of bondage doesn't mean leaving the relationship. It is actually enhancing the relationship. We don't realize these things. If you have mother and father, which we all do, maybe they're present now, maybe they're not present now, there's always a relationship. The bandhan is out of the ahankar. And when that leaves us, when that goes away, then the relationship is enhanced. It becomes divya. It becomes a godly relationship, a holy relationship. Then the relationship really begins. Until then, there was only egos hitting against each other. Me wanting something from you, and you did this, and somebody did this, and this was enjoyable, this was not enjoyable. And we have all these memories, and we are rolling around, and I miss this person, I miss that person, and what a nice time we had here, and now this is gone, and this is the world we live in. And we are just damaged in that, and we end our life in that. Remember the good times, and remember all these negative things, and people cry. I miss this person so much, so much. You because that is your ego that is crying. It has nothing to do with love. We think that is love. It's not. We have mistaken bandhan and bondage and all kinds of, इसको in Gujarati we say asakta, asakti, asakta ban jata hai, asakti, antarni asakti. That is not love. That is not prem. That is not bhakti. That is an ego-driven, energy-focused, damaging phenomena. That's why people are crying at funeral homes. Why they're not crying otherwise? Why? The crying at a funeral home is a ahankar ka, it's not prem nahi hai usme. Sorry. People think that is love. That is not prem. Wo ahankar hai. That this person is, oh, this gone from my, it's me, that me is getting damaged. This person, I miss this person. I want this person in my life. Your ahankar is trying to grab hold of something anitya. That is not prem. वो प्रेम है ही नहीं. Sorry. प्रेम कुछ अलग बात है. Real prem, when a person is living, when they're there, you do the maximum with love and affection and seva and bhakti. And people are crying after a person is gone. They're waiting for people to die and then they cry. Kitna terrible things are there in the sansar. And then they're only interested in how much money they have been given, left in the will. And this is not, isko prem nahi kehte. There's no chance. This is not bhakti or prem or anything. It is only ahankar. It is deha bhav. I've seen people crying like mad inside the funeral homes because of the terrible things that they have done, the memories that they have. They're so trapped inside. That's not love. Bandhan, Gunatitanand Swami कहते जीवना बंधन नु कोई पार नहीं. कितना बंधन है ये आप देख सकते हैं. You don't need to go far. It's not criticizing anybody. It's the reality. इससे बाहर निकलना. ये क्या है सब? This is why to take hold 100% of Shakti, कि हे प्रभु आपकी शक्ति है, अभी इसका डैमेज हम नहीं करेंगे. Not by crying and shouting and screaming and yelling and overanalyzing and getting stuck in memories and worries and tensions and fears. ये सब छोड़ देना. इसका कोई स्थान नहीं है जीवन में. If somebody passes away, ये माला लेना, do 10,000 mantra. Is it better to cry or to do 10,000 mantra? Ask the question. Crying, shouting, screaming, this, that. Such idiotic nonsense. छोड़ दो ये सब बात. भगवान की भक्ति करो. Don't waste time in attachment, in entangled attached time and energy. Energy damage hota hai. The energy we need for akhanda bhakti is damaged by all of this. If somebody is injured, somebody is hurt, seva karo uski. Try to help the person. Uske liye prarthna karo. Do something rather than getting into an ego-laden frenzy. It's very simple. Bring in prema bhakti inside and bring that prem towards the entire memories, to all the people around, to everybody around, and recognize that everything under Prakriti is temporary. That's a fact. We know that. We don't need even scriptures for that. When Gautam Buddha, when he left, he was a prince, right? Siddharth. He didn't know any scriptures. He saw an old person, a dying person, a sick person. Isme se vairagya ho gaya. He said, if this is going to happen to me and to everybody, where is the truth? That became Updesham. That became a great teaching. So when a bhakta recognizes bandhan meaning bondage, binding is sucking up energy. Binding is necessary up to some point in life, with mother, child, family, with healthy relationships. But now that independence has to come, where prem, love, becomes active, not egotistical binding. That egotistical binding is what we are calling love in this world. And that is wo prem nahi hai. That is not love. Constant worry, fear. Parents worry about their children, constantly worrying about this will happen. You cannot do anything after some point, even in teenage and all that, and afterwards they're living their own life. What are you going to do about that? And they're not yours anyway. The Atma is not connected to anybody except Paramatma. This is all karmic reaction, and mind gets trapped inside this. Rather than worrying, tension, fear, do your duty and prarthana karo. Take this mala, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. If a worry, tension, fear comes up, don't use that energy and damage it. Mantra sadhana karna. Bhagwan ke shastro karna. And let that fear dissolve. Attachments dissolve. Attachment in the sense, the energy draining attachment. What if this person does it? What if they do that? Who knows what they'll do? What are you going to do about that? For example, when a person becomes a teenager, young adult in their 20s, 25, what the life that they have, maybe you support them somehow or another. What are you going to do about that? You cannot control them. They might make their life topmost, and you want to guide them and help them, and everything is fine. There's no control over anybody. They have to live their life. And if they don't know how to live their life, even after giving their guidance and everything, they want to do what their ahankar is saying, you cannot do anything about that. And we get stuck. Why this person did this? Why this person did that? This person. We don't have control over anybody or anything. There's only one person that we want to have control and mastery over, is oneself. Uddareda atmana atmanam atmanam avasadet. Right? Just uddareda atmana atmanam natmanam avasadet atmaiva yatmano bandhur atmaiva ripur atmanaha. So you are the only person Sachin can uplift is Sachin. That's it. That's the bottom line. Man eva manushanam karanam bandhamokshayo. कितने शास्त्र है? अरे शास्त्र का क्या करना है? Just by reading, Shastra has to become alive. The words by themselves are just words. It has to be inside and make it alive. To say, this person is a master. Vachanamrut, Garada Madhya number 12. Rajniti nu Vachanamrut. Who are you, Maharaj kehte? You are the king. You are the Atma Tattva, Brahma Tattva. And you're the master of this mind and of the senses. They are not the master of you. The mind is the chief minister. The chief minister is not to sit on the king's throne and the king becomes a slave. That is the difference between Jeev and Shiv. Who are you? मैं ब्रह्मा हूँ, मैं दिव्य हूँ, अहम ब्रह्मास्मि, कृष्णदासोस्मि, भगवान का भक्त हूँ. ये क्या लेना देना किसी के साथ? Let people continue to do what they're doing. Don't get bound to them, to anybody. Do your seva, duty, etc. Have great shraddha, faith, shraddha, nishta, bhakti, seva. Wish well for all. Guide everybody. Not entangle. Bandhan nahi. Bilkul bandhan nahi. Nirbandha sthiti, जिसको कहते हैं. किसकी तैयारी है? किसको आनंद? Who wants akhanda ananda? इसमें अखंड आनंद है. When the bondages go away, our internal kundalini shakti that is in the chakras and all, it gets freed up, completely open. Gnan shakti, kriya shakti, ichha shakti, bhakti, it gets transmuted into param bhakti, seva, love, affection is there. But the sense, this person is mine, ye mera hai. Yeah, functionally, I can say my mother, but intrapsychically, the binding goes away. There is a realization. वचनामृत का ज्ञान है ये सब. महाराज कहते ऐसे तो कितने जन्म हो गए. How many mothers and fathers have come and gone? Millions. He said in Gujarati, out of agnan, we have forgotten them. This time, in this birth, with jnana, go beyond the attachment structure. वचनामृत का direct quote है. कितनी सुंदर बात. People are afraid. What if I, does that mean they don't understand what it is? It's not leaving anything and running away anywhere. It is removing the energy that is sucked up in the binding, pulling it out of the binding, the knot, granthi, pulling it out of that and allowing love to flow in every direction with bhakti, so the knot is gone. It is called mamatva granthi. So I give my own example. Forget about anybody else. I said, this is my father. Okay, this happened, that happened. Mera mamatva. This shouldn't have happened. That should have happened. I should have said this. This person did this. This person didn't do this. Analysis. Let it be. He's with God. End of story. वो भगवान में लीन हो गए. End of story. अभी क्या? Still people are trapped. This person did this. This person did that. This is all energy damaging, draining. This is called bandhan. To let that drop is the power of bhakti. But bhakti does, when we bring the murti of Paramatma inside of us, this is not hard now. Something that is so difficult and we can take millions of lifetimes. Now it becomes available for us right away. Okay, yeah. So this becomes available for us right away. It's not later on. It's available here. Mukti is right. Mukti is not about relinquishing objects. Yeah, you have to have some proper boundary with everything. The same objects remain. If you go to a restaurant, you go to a party, go to this, but go there with Brahma Bhav, with Mukta Bhav, with Divya Bhav. मंदिर में जाते हैं तो मंदिर में, with a nice, beautiful bhavana that comes. This is how we proclaim मैं मुक्त हूँ. अहम ब्रह्मास्मि कृष्ण दासोस्मि अक्षरम अहम पुरुषोत्तम दासोस्मि. ये सब मंत्र महामंत्र है. It's proclaiming that this is who I am and who I am not a bound person. First of all, when we sit in front of भगवान की जो मूर्ति है, जो भी मूर्ति आपको इष्ट है, make it solid inside. I am free. मैं आपका मुक्त हूं, मैं आपका भक्त हूं. अभी क्या? और आप ज्ञान दीजिए. You open my vision and you are present in all. How beautiful. Life, our day to day, hour to hour interaction becomes so beautiful. प्रेममय, प्रेम की धारा, प्रेमनी धारा छूटे. So with the family, with the friends, with our own internal structures of memory and thoughts, and love is flowing in the real way. Prema is flowing. Forgiveness, tolerance, understanding of the way binding works. This is called karuna. We looked at it the other day, sometime maybe last week. करुणा सिंधु, भगवान के संत करुणा सिंधु है, वही हमारा स्वरूप है. Ocean of compassion. Understand where people are in their own journey. With love them, guide them, help them. Don't negatively judge them, and definitely don't get bound by their limitation. इसको कहते हैं करुणा. भगवान की आंखों में करुणा है, संत की आंखों में करुणा है. Not बंधन नहीं है. It's a totally different matter, but it requires lot of internal manan chintan. इस points पर. It's not difficult. We think it is so hard. Why is it so difficult? There's nothing difficult about this. God realization is the most straightforward thing in life. But it seems to be so difficult because of our ahankar, because of all these reasons which we just mentioned today. We don't want to let go of the Shakti that is inside that binding power. And when we bring Paramatma inside by bhakti, by asking Paramatma to you come inside this Shakti, ये आपकी शक्ति है, आपको ही समर्पण है, everything, the light shines all the way around. It's so simple. What is so hard about this? All of our internal deficiency, it will go away. Anxiety, fear, blame, shame, guilt, depression, this, that. ये सब नाश, इसका सब नाश हो जाता है. Because we are stopping energy damage. हमारे में ही शक्ति है which we are damaging. And to each his own. स्वाद करना, इसका to experience the स्वाद. स्वाद meaning Brahma bhav. Brahmanand. It's a divine स्वाद. And in that sthiti, बहुत आनंद. That's all it is. It's so simple. Ahankar, vichitra baat hai. That is the only thing that is causing all of this horrific problems in this sansar. The entire human civilization is trapped inside aham bhav. Mera, tera, mera, tera, mera, tera. ऐसे ही मर जाते, इसमें से निकलता नहीं कोई. बट हु हैज रियलाइजेशन, कभी इसमें से बाहर निकलना है. बस ये मेरा तेरा कितना करेंगे, क्या करेंगे इसके साथ. You've seen elderly people, body has become really old, only few years may be left. They might be very wealthy people, कुछ काम का नहीं. भगवान की सेवा में that should have been used. Accumulate, me. That means how long it will last? हमारा तो नहीं है कुछ. This is our biggest अज्ञान is this, मेरा कुछ है. ये शरीर ही हमारा नहीं है. Then what is mine? Whatever is given is for सेवा. भगवान की सेवा, संतों की सेवा, सत्संग की सेवा, समाज की सेवा, कुटुंब की सेवा. सेवा के लिए सेवा, not aham. Everybody, most human beings live in aham, me. I want this and I want this and I want this and I want this, and constantly struggling for positions and more pay raises and this and that. You need those things. I'm not saying no to that. But that is not what life is for, to struggle this way. Even if you get to a lot of accumulation, your sharir is going to become old. Kitna rahega? Kya rahega? And with that awakening from inside, then our Shakti is used for Bhakti. And that Bhakti is Seva. Every word is Seva. Every vision is Seva. Every hand of the actions of the hand is Seva. जो हाथ वो जो है सौंदर्य का हाथ, the hands भगवान का पूजन करे, the songs are there, bhajans are there. Feet are for seva. Everything is for seva. And when that shift happens from aham bhav into seva bhav, Bhagwan स्वयं आ जाते. God is not far away. He's right there. That's all that is needed. And Sachin is telling for Sachin, not for anybody else. And there's no right to tell anybody anything. But this is the shift. Itni सीधी बात है. इसमें क्या बड़ी बात है? Why is so hard? What's so hard about this? It's the most straightforward thing to do is to realize God. Is to realize the Atma Tattva, to be free. There's nothing difficult about it. We are making it difficult because we don't want to realize that Tattva. And when we don't want to realize, but then the suffering is so much caused by all of the problems in the world today. How many problems are there? Endless number, right? What is the cause? Ahankar. Nothing else. There's no other cause. There is no other cause. Countries battling, how many weapons there are? Border disputes, family disputes, court disputes. This is, most of humanity is totally trapped. इसीलिए भगवान और भगवान के जो संत है वो करुणा रखते हैं. Because they are present, the enlightened beings are present. That's why this world is sustaining. Otherwise it would have been blown out long time back. This is the fact of the life. So we have an opportunity, all of us together, at the feet of Paramatma, at the feet of all great sages, to awaken once and for all. In Gujarati, we'll close with this point. Don't back off, Pacha na padu. Don't back off. Continue. Get it clear. Dhyan dwara, through meditation, through Sakar Upasana, get it clear. What is bondage? Bandhan mein shakti kaha ja rahi? Isko nikalo isme se. Nikalo isme se. And bring it into the synchronicity and bring love instead. Magic happens. This is called, isko kehte hai chamatkar, aur kuch chamatkar nahi hai जीवन में. This is the biggest miracle that there can be. Om Vakradunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurme Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Ganganapate Namaha. Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche Swaha. Durga Rakshini Tata Swaha. Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Rim Swaha.